Hey guys, so today I want to talk quickly about ratios and proportions. I have been getting some questions about ratio and proportion questions on the Praxis Core Math exam, so I thought I would go over these ideas quickly. So just to start out, a ratio is a comparison of quantities by division, by two quantities by division. And when we're talking about this, we're going to talk about like boys to girls, students to teachers. And we write a ratio three ways. And we can write it as, for example, boys to girls. We could say for every one boy, there are three girls. So we could write it as a fraction. We can write it with the word two. And we can write it with this colon, I think it's called. I don't know. That's why I teach math. And we will normally see it written as a fraction. So that's just the easiest way for us to work with them. An equation stating that two ratios are equal is called a proportion. So how we are going to set these up is we're going to set up the two quantities in the exact order on both sides of the proportion. So for example, the first question says, at Hopewell High School, that's where I went to high school actually, 3 out of 8 students are athletes. If there are 1,280 students at the school, how many are not athletes? So how we want to set this up is we want to do the athletes to the total number of students. And we're going to set this up as, okay, 3 are the athletes out of 8 students. Our total number is 1,280 students, and we're looking for how many are not athletes, and we'll get there in a minute. We want to cross multiply by multiplying across the equal sign. So we would multiply 8 times x, and then we would multiply 3 times 1,280. And when we multiply 3 times 1,280, we get 3,840. Since 8 is multiplied by x, we want to use the inverse operation by dividing both sides by 8. And then we get 480. So that is actually going to be how many are athletes, but we have to make sure that we read the question carefully, because whenever we're taking these tests, they will throw in vocabulary or words to make sure that you're paying attention for the answer. And if this was a multiple choice question, this would definitely be one of the answers. But this says are not athletes, so we have to take the total students that were 1,280 and subtract those athletes from there in order to find out that 800 students are not the athletes. So it is all about making sure you're setting up your equation correctly with your proportion and looking at what the question is asking you. So let's go ahead and do another example. 2 out of 5 students in 9th grade have braces. If there are 325 students in 9th grade, how many have braces? So 2 out of 5 students in 9th grade have braces. So here are our students that have braces. Here are all the students in 9th grade. So if there are 325 students in 9th grade, how many have braces? Again, it's just how they're asking you the question to make sure that you have everything set up correctly. So again, we're going to cross multiply. So 5 times x is just 5x. 325 times 2 is, I could have done that in my head, 650. It's a lot different when you're recording yourself. And so we end up dividing both sides by 5. I didn't give myself enough room to write. Story of my life. We end up with 130 students. Make sure you label your questions. And you will have 130 students have braces. All right, the next example. Joel uses a half a gallon of paint to cover 84 square feet of wall. He has 932 square feet of wall to paint. How many gallons of paint should he purchase? So we'll just go ahead. I like to change this half gallon right here to a decimal, 0.5. So that's my paint. This is how many square feet I'm covering with my wall. So we want to know how many gallons of paint he'll purchase if he has 932 square feet of wall to paint. Again, here is my paint, half a gallon of paint, square feet. So paint that he has, square feet. So as long as you set that up as how many gallons of paint he should buy, or gallons or paint, or however you want to say that, and square feet down here. Again, cross multiply, so we end up with 84x, and then 932 times 0.5, which is just half of 932, so 466. Divide both sides by 84, and you get around 5.5. You can't buy 5.5 gallons of paint. So again, on a test, if this was multiple choice, they may have 5 as an answer, and 5 is incorrect because it's 5.5. You would technically have to buy 6 gallons of paint, and you would need that because it's more than 5. So you need to make sure that you're paying attention to those type of questions. Now on this next one is going to be set up a little bit different. This is saying a high school has 1,500 students and the ratio of boys to girls is 1 to 4. How many girls attend the school? So since it's giving us a total of 1,500 students, we kind of need the total of boys to girls. So to do that, we want to just have X be our students. So we're just going to let X be our students. And we're going to take that ratio of girls to boys, and we're going to do 1x plus 4x is going to equal the 1,500 students. So the only reason I did that was because our ratio is given to us as boys to girls, and it's giving us that there are 1,500 students. And we want to know how many girls attend the high school. So we would just want to let X be our students, add that ratio together with the X as the students to give us 5X. Divide both sides by 5. So we get that there are 300 with our students, but now we need to know how many girls there are. And since there are 4 girls, or that ratio is 4, we would need to multiply 4 times this X, which would give us 4 times 300, which would give us 1,200 girls. And again, that would be another type of question that they would ask you, and that 300 could possibly be an answer. So you need to make sure that you go through and watch what they're asking. They're asking how many girls attend the high school. If they asked you for boys, then you would have your 300 there, because that would actually be the boys in this case. So I hope you enjoyed this video on ratios and proportions, and I will see you soon.